Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Victoria's Cantina Q&A. I want to thank everybody who took the time to submit a question through YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We've got quite a bit of ground to cover, so let's go ahead and get started. Now I do want to let you know that I will try to respond to as many questions as reasonably possible. If I don't get to your question, I do apologize in advance. I will try and leave you a comment on your question in the original Q&A video. So question number 1, and this one comes from Elijah Woods. Interesting. It says, if you could own any prop from Star Wars, what would it be? Well, for me, that's an easy one. I think I would really love to own the very original Luke Skywalker lightsaber prop from A New Hope. It's just a huge piece of cinematic history, and having that would certainly be one of the prized possessions in my collection if I had it. Next question is from Gungan Hunter 506. Do you think we will be getting 6-inch Star Wars The Black Series figures based on the Clone Wars? And do you like the prequels? I do hope that we will see 6-inch figures in the Black Series based on the Clone Wars, though I am not too optimistic for the short term. Right now, the focus seems to be on Star Wars Rebels, and Hasbro looks to be doing a really good job getting some of those figures taken care of for us. I do seem to recall them talking about doing a Captain Rex a little while back. I haven't seen any updates on that. I sure hope that it is still coming, but beyond that, I'm not so sure they're going to do anything else Clone Wars related at this time, but hopefully in the future, they will churn a few more of them out. As far as whether or not I like the prequels, yes, I'm a huge fan of the Star Wars prequels. Do I think they're as good as the original trilogy films? No, I don't, but I still love them quite a bit. I actually grew up with the prequels more so than I did the original trilogy, which was out of theaters before I was even born. So I do like a lot of elements of the prequels. They are imperfect, though I think Revenge of the Sith is actually a really good film. Next question is from Brick Mason, who is asking, what prequel character do you want to see in the 6-inch Star Wars Black Series line? Personally, I think I would really like to see Count Dooku, aka Darth Tyrannus, and I'd also really like to see Qui-Gon Jinn, and I think Mace Windu would be a really cool addition too. Not to mention some of the background Jedi like Aayla Secura, Kit Fisto, those would be really cool. So let's hope they get to those at some point. Our next question is from the Angry Squad, who asks, do you like The Walking Dead, and when will you do a Mos Eisley Cantina display update? I do like The Walking Dead. I watch every episode. I'm not a hardcore fan of it like a lot of people are. In fact, I think my own mother is probably a little more hardcore about it than I am. But I do watch it and I do enjoy it. And yes, there will be a collection update coming in which I will showcase all of my collectibles that I have on display. You may recall that we did a collection video about a year ago, and it's definitely time to do a new one because my displays have changed around quite a bit. So yes, there will be a new collection display video coming in the short term. Our next question is from N. Cork, who's asking, is there a toy from your childhood you are still looking for? And yeah, there are a few. Most recently, though, I did acquire the Kenner, the Real Ghostbusters Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. When I was a kid, I had quite a few Ghostbusters figures, but I never had the prized Marshmallow Man, so I was finally able to get one of those carded on eBay, and I was really happy to finally add that to my collection after all these years. And I think by 1980 standards, it was a really good looking figure. It had a really good likeness, so that's a really cool one. I will do a video on that in the future as well. Other than that, yes, I am still trying to track down some of the older Batmobiles from the older Batman films, like the Bat Missile from the Batman Returns toy line and the Batman Forever Batmobile. I also really want to get some more Kenner Jurassic Park stuff. Slowly but surely, I'm building up my collection. I never had the Command Compound when I was a kid. For example, my brother did, and it was a totally awesome toy. So I really want to get that, want to get some more stuff from the Lost World. And hopefully, given some time, I will be able to track most of those items down. Next question comes from Marveland DC379, who is asking, how many fandoms do you have and what are they? And I'm interpreting that to mean how many franchises do you enjoy and what are they? Anything that we review here on the channel, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Marvel, DC. I'm a huge fan of all 4 of those. I also really love Ghostbusters. I love Disney. I'm a huge fan of most of the Disney animated films. I love Disney history, love Disneyland and Disneyland history, though that's not really a property, is it? I guess you could consider that a fandom. So yeah, I am a Disney nerd, and a few other miscellaneous things. Next question's from Eduardo Manuel Galindo, and he's asking, why don't you review Marvel Legends or Star Wars Rebels figures? Well, I do. If you go to my channel page and look at my playlists, there is a playlist dedicated to Marvel Legends, and there is also one for Star Wars Rebels toys. So if you want to check those out, they are there. Next question is from Axel VS94, who is asking, what's your favorite character from Marvel and DC? For Marvel, I would say that it's probably Captain America. I like Agent Carter quite a bit. I'm a huge fan of that show, and hopefully it's coming back for season 3. But from the more prominent heroes, I would definitely say Captain America. As for DC, no brainer, it's certainly Batman. Though I do also like Harley Quinn quite a bit. I like Wonder Woman and Catwoman too. Next up, this comes in from NG Chris, who's asking, between DC Multiverse 6-inch figures and Marvel Legends 6-inch figures, which do you like more? I think that Marvel Legends has a better thing going on than the DC Multiverse figures in the 6-inch scale. And the reason that I say that is because I feel like the DC Multiverse figures are relying heavily on older style sculpting and articulation, just like what we saw with the DC Universe Classics figures, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are some stellar figures from that toy line, but looking at the Batman vs. Superman multiverse figures, I just don't think they hold up to what Hasbro is doing with the Marvel Legends figures. I really think that DC should update them and start making the articulation up to more modern type standards and, just give us a little bit better sculpts, something that looks a little closer to what we're seeing in the films. So on the whole, I enjoy both, but I do think that Marvel Legends is quite a bit superior to DC Multiverse. Our next question is from Joe Eversole, who's asking, Harley Quinn has become insanely popular with DC fans and especially females. What are your thoughts on the character? This is a great question. I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan. In fact, I went as Harley Quinn for Halloween last year. On my Twitter page, there was a picture that I posted of myself as Harley Quinn, so that should still be up there if you want to take a look. But yeah, I love the character. It's an interesting thing because Harley is a villain, and a lot of people like certain villains, like the Joker is insanely popular, Catwoman is pretty popular, but Harley Quinn seems to be taking that to a whole other level, just like you say, with females especially. She's hugely popular. In fact, last year, I recall reading that the biggest search for Halloween costumes was Harley Quinn. I think that was from Google. So she's certainly having a huge impact. I like the character personally, though it is interesting that a lot of people are being drawn to a villain character. And I think some of it is just her quirky personality, the way she was portrayed by Arlene Sorkin on Batman the Animated Series. I think a lot of people are just drawn to her. She's just a fun character, and in any medium she's portrayed in, she's actually quite enjoyable. I really liked her portrayal in the Arkham video games. And some of my favorite figures in my collection are Harley Quinn figures. So I'm really looking forward to Suicide Squad, and I hope that it's an awesome movie and that the Harley character is portrayed very well. Next question is from Diana Michelle, who's asking, between the Mattel DC Multiverse 6-inch figures and their basic 6-inch figure line, which have better likenesses to the actors? Interestingly, it's actually the basic figures that have better likenesses to what we are seeing in the film and on the promo materials. And I really don't know why that is. I think that that's very unusual. But the basic figures that retail at $10 certainly do appear to have better likenesses than the $20 figures we are seeing from the DC Multiverse line. Overall, I think that the Multiverse are better figures, but the likenesses just aren't quite there. So I have been a bit disappointed overall with the likenesses that these new figures in the Multiverse line have had, and I hope to see those improve as time goes on. Our next question is from the 101 Jenko, who's asking, what is your favorite Batman universe? And if we're talking about film universes, I would certainly say that it is the Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight trilogy. Listen, I love the old Batman films from 1989, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and so forth. But they just don't hold a candle to the Dark Knight trilogy, which, in my opinion, is the best cinematic representation of the Batman character. I love that the films are realistic. I think that the actors through and through have been phenomenal. Actors like Michael Caine, Christian Bale, Morgan Freeman, Tom Hardy, Anne Hathaway, Heath Ledger, of course. Nothing has really held to that standard so far. I hope to see some great things happening with the new DC cinematic universe, But so far, my ideal portrayal of Batman on film has been the Batman as seen in the Dark Knight trilogy. Next question comes from Corey Baker on Twitter. He's asking, what's your most expensive collectible? That one is really hard to say. I'm trying to think, what is my most expensive thing that I have in my collection? I kind of want to say that it's my customized Darth Maul Force FX lightsaber. I had a friend upgrade it for me, and it cost a little bit of money. It's a really awesome lightsaber. I still need to do a thorough video of it, though I have shown it to you guys here and there. That would definitely be one of them. I'm just trying to think on what I've spent the most on in terms of collectibles go. I try not to spend too much on any one collectible unless it's truly something that I need to have in my collection. Other than that, I might say the Clone Wars clone turbo tank. That one did cost me a little bit because it was already out of production, and it's a really awesome vehicle. Next question is also from Twitter. It's from Vegan Megan, who's asking, where should I hunt for Kenner Jurassic Park toys? Well, I think eBay is probably the easiest place to go to look for old toys, whether they be from Jurassic Park or any other toy line. I buy pretty much all my vintage stuff from eBay unless there's somebody I know from a forum or a friend, for example, that's putting something on sale. I try to only buy carded items, things that are in sealed packaging. Even if I'm going to open them, I try to make sure that they're in brand new condition. So if you're looking for something like that, eBay, occasionally Amazon will have some stuff, but sometimes they go for a little bit more than eBay. So it really just depends. I would also say check out your local antique shop maybe, or garage sales, swap meet, and comic book shops, things like that, because you may get lucky and find something. You can also check if you have like a local comic book convention going on in your area. You might check that out too, because sometimes people find things. Next question is also a Twitter question from Dino Reviews 101, who is asking, what is the best piece of Jurassic World merch? I want to say that the Jada stuff was very solid through and through. I've been very pleased with all of the Jada die-cast vehicles that they put out, the RC stuff, all really top-notch stuff. The Lego stuff is also very, very solid. I'm a huge fan of all the Lego sets that came out for Jurassic World. And if we want to talk about Hasbro, which was really all over the place and had a lot of stuff that just wasn't up to par, I would say that the Stomper animatronic dinosaurs were very solid, and I really like those quite a bit. They were also going for insanely cheap prices on Amazon at one point. Next question is from Earth's Geomancers asking, at this point, is the Hasbro Jurassic World line so bad that it is irrelevant? I wouldn't say that it is irrelevant because we need to have something that is so polar opposite of what Kenner did for perspective, for comparison. And in terms of that, it does give us some perspective on what toy companies can do when they are really focused and dedicated to doing an excellent toy line, and what they can do when they are getting a little bit sloppy and just not really focused on giving consumers the best product out there. It wasn't all bad. There are a few bright spots in the line, like the Stompers that I just talked about. The Growlers, I think, were the best overall assortment in the main line. And some of the hybrids look a little bit promising. So here's hoping that they just do better product in the future, because I know that we all really want that. Our next question is from Shun Kadori, who is asking, will you continue reviewing Kenner Jurassic Park toys? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have quite a bit of Kenner Jurassic Park and Kenner the Lost World reviews coming very shortly. We're going to spend a good little amount of time focusing on those toy lines, so stay tuned because there is quite a bit to come, and I think you're really going to like what I have on the way. Our final question here, which is actually a two-piece question that I am combining from two different people, is first of all from JP Responder, who's asking, what are your thoughts on the Hasbro Jurassic World Dino Hybrids line? And then Crazy Dinosaur Guy, who's asking, what will you review of the Jurassic World Hybrids line? Well, recently I was a guest on the Jurassic Park podcast, which is an absolutely excellent production. If you are a fan of Jurassic Park, you got to check out this podcast. It's absolutely excellent. When I was on there a few weeks ago, we discussed specifically the Dino Hybrid toy line, and I even gave my thoughts on every single one of the new products that were shown at New York Toy Fair 2016. So if you want to get my full thoughts on the hybrid toy line and what I'm planning to review, I would certainly say check out the Jurassic Park podcast. I will throw a link down in the description to that episode. But by and large, I think that hybrids looks to be okay. It's still not the Kenner quality that we all want, but it looks to be a little bit better than the Jurassic World mainline. I think in particular the Raptor Growler that they showed with the green and red striping looks quite good. Some of the bashers, like one of the Indominus Rex bashers, looks quite nice. The Stegoceratops looks pretty cool. And of course the Alpha Cycle with the 4-inch Owen figure and the motorcycle and Raptor Blue is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Really looking to see what they're going to do with that set. And we'll certainly be reviewing it on the channel, as well as the electronic Indominus, which is coming out later this fall. Alright you guys, so that'll do it for this episode of Q&A. I want to thank all of you for submitting your questions. As always, I want to thank you for tuning into Victoria's Cantina and for all your love and support. I greatly appreciate your viewership. Stay tuned because we got a lot of great videos on the way, and I'm really excited about some of them. I think you guys are going to love some of what is coming. Alright my friends, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the latest news and updates. Till next time my friends, bye bye.